Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, get ready for your doom and gloom bit of news for the day, ladies and gentlemen. And I only say doom and gloom playing around. It's really realistic things that are going on now that may affect us in the future. And the first one that we have here, not very good news, at least not for Ukraine or for those countries that import wheat from Ukraine. This article reads, Ukrainian farmers may not sow 30% of winter wheat. And if you read further along and look in between the lines, it's because their input costs are too high. Pretty much they cannot afford to plant 30% of their land. As where last year they had a total of 6.5 million hectares, which equals to roughly around 15 million acres. This year they're only planting 4.4 million hectares. Said their minister. So not good news for them. Let's hope things turn around over there, because remember, why should we hope that things turn around in Ukraine? It's because what happens in other countries, especially when it comes to countries that put out a lot of food, it affects the whole world. Even though Ukraine is very far from us here in the United States and other Western nations, it's going to affect the prices that you pay at the store. But more importantly, it's going to really affect those countries that depend on those imports. As you all know, they are predicting, when I say they, I mean the clowns. So when the clowns are predicting famine throughout 2023, 2024, it's not necessarily going to affect what they call rich nations, like the Western nations, in a way of scarcity, but more so in the way of the price of things that you pay at the supermarket, therefore lowering your standard of living. And ladies and gentlemen, inflation is here to stay. It is here to stay for a very long time, and there is nothing that the Federal Reserve can do about it. Here it says the numbers don't lie, and the numbers don't lie. The Fed will not win this fight with inflation. And just reading this short part here, for any of you that are new here, thank you very much for joining in. Whenever I do these videos, I always leave the link to the articles that I read over. That way, if you want to revisit them, you can do so later on. But I just try to give you a little bit of what's going on in that article. That way, if you find interest in it, you can revisit it on your own. It says here that after the CPI data cooled a bit in July, which they were touting that we had zero inflation in July, but you know how they like to play with the numbers, many observers expected the Fed to declare victory and begin pivoting away from tightening monetary policy. Instead, the central bankers doubled down on the tough talk, right? That they're going to go ahead and intervene with monetary policy, which in this case means that they're going to start selling off of their balance sheet, and that they're going to bring up interest rates. Well, let me tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if they bring up interest rates to where they need to bring them up to in order to really fight inflation, we will go into a worldwide depression. That's why there is no winning. Either way, there is going to be suffering involved. It says here, Minneapolis Federal Reserve Bank President Neel Kashkari said the Fed remains far, far away from declaring victory on inflation. And let me remind you that this person here, Neel Kashkari, he was the one here a year, 2 years ago saying we need to print as much money as we can. We have power to print infinite amount of dollars, right? And now he's saying, oh no, we need to tighten up. Right, ladies and gentlemen, you know why they need to tighten up now? Because they've made all of the money off of the American people that they needed to make for that period. So now they're going to tighten up so that we can get rid of more of the middle class and then wash, rinse, and repeat. He went on to say that he hasn't seen anything that changes the trajectory of the Fed's inflation fight. Kashkari remained adamant that the central bank needs to raise rates to 3.9% by the end of this year and 4.4% by the end of 2023. He even insisted he won't be deterred by a recession. Of course he's not going to be deterred by a recession, which we are in right now, but we are not. You know, as the clowns tell us, we're not in a recession. Why? Because a recession or a depression won't bother this man. Why? Because he has all of the money that him and his family and probably his children's children will need for the rest of their lives. It is we, the middle class, the working class, that will suffer, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, there will be a housing market crash like you've never seen. only at 3.9%, which means that mortgages, 30-year mortgages, will probably rise to about 7-8% instead of where they are now. I think they're around 5.5, 5.7%, something like that right now. And the market is crashing now. The market is doing really bad right now at 5.5% interest rates, roughly. If they go up to 8-9%, nobody's going to be buying a house, or at least nobody's going to be buying a house at the prices that they're going for now. They may be able to afford to buy a house for half of what they're going for now, or a third of what they're going for now, but definitely not. We will see a huge depression if we get interest rates up, like he's saying, 3.9, 4.4%, which, in my opinion, those are pretty fair interest rates. Those are pretty normal interest rates. 5-6% federal fund rate or federal Fed rate. That's pretty normal. But not anymore, not in the economic environment in which we're living today, ladies and gentlemen. Finland braces for rolling blackouts this winter. We need energy, and sanctions don't work. They only hurt the working man and the poor. They don't hurt the politicians that put them in place. However, I digress. Finland should be prepared for possible power outages this winter in case of shortfalls in electricity supply. The Finnish grid operator said on Tuesday, and yet another warning of an energy crunch in Europe after gas supply from Russia was severely reduced. The good news for Finland is that they don't rely on Russia for that much gas. However, what I see happening is that if they're doing better than another European nation, that maybe some of their energy will be diverted to those other European nations. That's what I see happening with them. But if you are Finnish, make sure that you brace for a cold winter. Belgian PM warns that the next 5 to 10 winters will be difficult as crisis energy worsens. This reminds me of telling you all that I believe that the dark winter that everybody's talking about for the last couple of years, we're going to have a dark winter in this, that it's not a one winter thing, that it is a dark winter as per a period of time. For example, I've said before that we are going through what is called the fourth turning. If you have not read the book The Fourth Turning, go buy it and read it. It's a great read, and it will allow you to understand how the human cycles work. Right now we are in the winter part of that fourth turning, and I've said in the past that we still have about 10 years to go, and this gentleman here, or this PM, I don't know if it's a man or a woman, says that the next 5 to 10 years will be difficult because of energy crisis. The Prime Minister's comments suggest replacing Russian natural gas imports could take years, exerting further economic doom on the region's economy in the form of energy hyperinflation. Well, you know what? I'm not the kind of I said so or I told you so kind of guy, but the European Union was warned a few years back. Do not rely on Russian energy. Do not rely on it. Because when you need it the most is when it's going to be taken away. And now look at what's happening. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the people's fault. I will say it again like I say it 1,000 times. I remember saying on a previous video, maybe a day or two ago, that I try to keep things positive, and that usually whenever I talk bad about someone, it's never about someone, it's about government. You're never going to hear me sit here and talk bad about another person, right? Because I'm not perfect. But government is not a person. Government is a system that's run by corrupt people, right? And it doesn't matter who gets in there. They're corrupt by nature, that they're working in government in a place that steals from us our freedoms. And I know you're going to say, what about all these government workers? That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about are the 535 and then the 2 that sit on Capitol Hill. That's what I'm talking about 537 people that call themselves our representatives that are here to do right by the American people, but instead do right by themselves and only themselves. And here's a great example. A great example. Weary Europeans must bear consequences of Ukraine war as Putin will eventually blink EU's Borrell. So here they're saying, listen, you're going to have to live with it. As these guys are sitting, look at that beautiful building. As these guys are living in luxury, they're telling the people, you're just going to have to deal with it. We're going to have to wait until Putin blinks. Are you kidding me? And to them, it doesn't matter how long it takes because they don't live in the real world, ladies and gentlemen. Here's another one. The ECB says cash is not fit for digital economy. Dismisses CBDC privacy concerns. So they don't care about your privacy. Again, this is just another example where government does not care about what you think. They don't care about your beliefs. They don't care about you, period. Here they're blatantly saying, listen, we're going to a CBDC and we don't care whether you think that your privacy, is at risk or not. We're just doing it and you're going to have to live with it. And this is something that one of our community members sent me. Denmark's national bank, new types of digital money. And then he went ahead and alerted me to a couple of excerpts from this PDF. And I'll go ahead and leave the link to this as well. Or I'll try to. I'm not sure if I can leave a link to a PDF, but I'll try to. But in any case, 3 of the excerpts that he sent me is such restrictions, for example, may be in the form of a cap on the amount that can be held in the account, or restrictions on the number and size of transactions that may be executed. Remember what I told you about programmable money? Well, that's exactly what a CBDC is. It's programmable money. If governments wanted to go into a cryptocurrency, which is what a CBDC is, it's just a centralized cryptocurrency, then they would allow the free market to do that for it. And it already has. Governments hate uncentralized currencies of any kind, including uncentralized or decentralized cryptocurrencies. Number 2 says the purpose of the restriction is that the retail CBDC will be more suitable as a means of payment than a storage of value. So they don't care about you saving for the future. They care about controlling how you spend in the now into the economy so that they can control the economy from the top down. The last one, central bank holdings or central holding is referred to as an account-based CBDC. In this model, the funds are held in a central account which can be accessed from various electronic devices via a connected digital wallet, i.e. a piece of software or online service which allows citizens and merchants to execute transactions. It allows them to execute transactions. You understand that? It allows them to do it, ladies and gentlemen. But they can be cut off at any time. I'm telling you, when we go through this period in time where we are under a CBDC, we will finally wake up as humanity because we will realize how much more enslaved we are under a system of control that has a CBDC as the center of that control. And it's getting so bad in Germany that now they are being told to take a shower or take a bath with washcloths instead of actually taking a shower. Just thought I'd throw this in here because this is all self-inflicted. This is all due to government policies. This is all due to politicians failing the people that they were supposed to represent. Drought conditions now affecting 2/3 of the U.S. So now instead of like half of the U.S. is now 2/3. In May and July and August, as its water levels are at historic lows, are just the latest consequences of the prolonged drought gripping the United States. And they're talking about human remains that were found in Lake Mead that were like 40 to 50 years old. So this pretty much tells you how severe this drought is that it was more than 40, 50 years ago that the water levels were this low, or a lot longer than that. Obviously, you all know that what we're going through here in the United States and other parts of the world are a mega drought that is the worst that's been seen in like 1,200 years. And this is going to continue. Why? Because it's a cycle. And you know, this is a form of division. Should red states block federal agencies from operating with impunity? Blue states do it. What does it have to do what color the state is? That's my question. The states should exercise their 10th Amendment from the federal government. Pretty much telling the federal government, stay out of our business. If it's not in the Constitution, stay out of our business. If we are not committing an act that is against the Constitution, then you have no say in it. That's what the state should be doing, is using the 10th Amendment. Right? And then the citizens need to be using the 9th Amendment against the state, saying, hey, listen, if it's not in the Constitution, stay out of my business. Leave me alone. I think that's how it works with the 9th and 10th Amendment. But I like to show you these articles so that you can not fall for the trick of having you be against someone else. We're all in this together, and as long as we stay divided by categorizing each other, right, by labeling each other, we are going to stay divided. We are going to lose as a people. So don't be divided. We need to come together. We need to be united and fight for a common cause, which is what? Which is freedom. Freedom for you to do anything that you want to do, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else. If you want to open a business, it shouldn't cost you an arm and a leg to open a business. I think that in New York City, if you want to be a taxi driver, you have to buy what's called, I think it's a medallion, and that's pretty much just a hall pass saying, yeah, you can be a taxi in New York City. And one of those medallions for those taxis, I think it's like $500,000 or $1 million for a hall pass, ladies and gentlemen, telling you, yes, here in the freest country in the United States of America, here's your hall pass for $1 million so that you can drive a taxi around and drive people around town. And here, just wanted to let you know that the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve falls to 35-year lows, and they are still draining from it. Look at that. That's incredible. And the question is this, is what if we need it? What if we need it? Where are we going to get it? And here it says the United States SPR now has only 453 million barrels in its inventory. And normally I do believe that it runs around 750 million barrels or so. So things are not getting better, ladies and gentlemen. I wish I could sit here and tell you, hey, look at my kitty cat. Actually, I think kitty cat is back here somewhere. I'm not sure if you can see her or not. But look at how cute my kitty cat is and all this and that. But you just need to prepare. You need to get prepared and stay prepared. And stay prepared for as long as you possibly can. And just to finish it off here, I don't have good news today. I don't have any good news today. But just to finish it off, look at this. This is the destruction of our nation right here. This is the destruction of one of the freest nations, if not the freest nations in the history of mankind. This is the birth rate of the United States of America going back to 2008, which is roughly when they started printing money like crazy, i.e. making the labor that you trade for that money worth less and less and less. The less prosperity that there is in an economy, the lower the birth rate gets. And you can see here how our birth rates have gone down and down and down year over year over year. And it's going to keep getting worse because that is their plan, to depopulate the earth as much as they can and to make everyone equal in equity, meaning that you will own nothing except for the 0.1%. Having said that, I hope that you have a great day. I may put out a third video today, very short video of showing you something that I did yesterday that I think would help a lot of people. However, we'll see how that works out. I do have to go take little Miss Alaska Prepper to school here in a couple of minutes. So thank you very much for joining in. I should have a review video tomorrow on a solar generator, another one, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm reviewing. That's a pretty decent medium size solar generator, and there will be a giveaway involved with that, so hope that you catch that video. That way you can enter to win. Having said that, have a great day. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper. I am out.
Nutrient survival isn't just survival food. It's special ops grade. Built to the nutritional standards of the U.S. Special Ops and packed with 40 essential nutrients. Formulated to sustain energy, sharpen focus, and keep you and your family thriving during any emergency. Real food, real ingredients. Oh, and a 25-year shelf life. Our meals will kick your taste buds in the mouth and have them coming back for dessert. Yeah, we've got that too. So whether you're digging in or bugging out, you don't just survive an emergency situation, you thrive in it. Nutrient Survival. Feed your freedom.